You know what's so crazy? When I was in Uganda, I was trying to teach online. People was telling me that that was like a great way to have like consistent income
Mm,
because what I was doing is writing. I was doing was an online content writing
mhm,
as a freelancer.
mhm.
And the internet was not fast enough for me to
No.
even pass the interview point
Mm,
in Kampala. I remember the lady was just like, "No, that your internet speed is too slow."
mhm.
Then when I was able to get a slightly faster internet speed, then my power went out. So the lights went out during my interview. It just went dark. I was like, I can't do it. But Kenya, I'll just say Nairobi
Mhm,
specifically,
mhm.
it's fast enough where you can do a lot of things online. You can, like, for a lot of us, we have meetings online,
Yes.
right? Some of us are taking classes. I'm also taking a UX design class.
Okay.
So I need fast internet.
Right. What's good, King Gandhi? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back with another episode of the Repad Podcast, and I'm here live in Nairobi, Kenya, and I have a very wonderful guest, and I want her to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Toddre Delora Moyer, and I'm also a host of a pod called Blacks to Africa. And I do fashion tours in Nairobi,
Mhm.
Blacks to Africa relocation and consultations. And I also have a fashion and a Nairobi City guide.
Give her a round of applause. So I met Toddre. It was Nexus, right?
Nexus.
Yeah, Nexus Group. And brother Kevin Morrison, I met him at Art Cafe,
Okay.
and he's introduced himself and told me about it. And that's how I met you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wonderful event. I really enjoyed myself. And you were talking about you have like a city guide or repack
Yeah.
guide.
So we met briefly because I had another event. I wish I could have stayed. It was
Hmm.
just so beautiful. Like we had Kenyans in there. We had, diasporans from around the world,
South
Black
Sudanese. Yeah.
diasporans. Yeah. So basically, I have a Nairobi city guide
Okay.
because, Nairobi's not the type of city where you've got districts. Like you might have like a wholesale district here, you might have a jewelry district here.
Mm.
Nairobi, things are spread all over the place. And people really tend to struggle in terms of like finding out where to get the best produce, where to go
Hmm.
shopping, who the best fundies are. So I created this Nairobi guide to help people out.
When we say people, let's just you know, minimize it if we can, like to a lot of the people from the diaspora, the African American community, or maybe even some people that be coming from the Caribbeans,
And even Kenyans.
Kenyans.
Like I've had Kenyans reach
Whoa.
out to me and actually purchase guides because Kenyans are all over the world. So when they
Yes,
come back for holiday or maybe they've
exactly.
been gone for 6 years, so much has changed. We're in Kilimani right now.
Yes,
Kilimani is just changing rapidly. So
right.
you'll need a guide.
Okay.
Hmm.
So for first timers coming from our community or the African American community coming into Nairobi, what are some of the things that they should, in your opinion, may want to see or should see to get familiar?
To get familiar, I think one of the first things that I would tell people, like let's say you're purchasing an apartment or you're leasing an apartment
Mm-hmm.
and you need furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I love purchasing from local carpenters or fundis, we call them.
Okay.
However,
Mm.
you will be so frustrated with just dealing with anybody that you find on the side of the road. You want to fight somebody.
Right.
Trust me, believe me.
Hit them with the
you
left hook.
you want to fight somebody. But Red Hill Road is an area where you can find a lot of carpenters. You can get your beds made, your tables, all of this stuff. And my advice to you is do not order nothing off the side of the road. You buy what they have right then and there. If they
Mm-hmm.
don't have it, then you go someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Because you can buy things that are produced in China, produced in Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's not made with African wood. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, I don't know, like some sort of manufactured, what's the word? MFA? Is that what it's called? The manufactured wood,
Mm-hmm.
where it's
Mm-hmm.
just got the veneer. But
Right.
then you got all these amazing fundies.
Okay.
So use them, but you have to source them correctly. So that's where my guide comes in.
Okay. Shout out to my friend Raymond Kahuma. He is from Uganda but lives here. And if I want to show a picture of his nice desk, and it's nice, but he had a hell of a time trying to get this desk. And you'll face similar issues in Uganda. So I can say, because you lived in Uganda for a minute, we'll talk about that.
Right.
So that experience carried over to here. Okay. So this is if you're relocating here, right?
Right.
Okay. What if a person is visiting, trying to get their feet wet to see if they want to
Okay.
stay here?
So if you're visiting, right, then you want to go to restaurants, you want to go to lounges, etc. So I've been to all of these places that I recommend, and every month I will update the guide, right, so that people know where to go. It's interesting because we have a lot of restaurants in Nairobi specifically. And when it's hot, and everybody wants to go to it. But if you're a foodie, you'll definitely want my guide.
Okay. How much is the guide, by the way?
The guides are $25. So I have a Nairobi City guide,
Okay.
which is just basically where to shop, where to go,
Okay.
where to get your appliances. Like, okay, obviously you can go to the mall, but if you want like a real experience and you also want to purchase wholesale, I'm gonna send you down to Kamkunji, which is gonna be a whole experience in and of itself.
Okay.
Then I also have a fashion guide. So that's for men and women. It tells you where to get handbags, where to go to find tailors, where to go for luxury, where to go for budget, etc. One of the things that you might have some people watching who love to thrift. You've got Toy Market, which is a huge outdoor market where you can get damn near everything.
Okay.
From household items to clothing to shoes.
Wow.
So, all of this stuff that we give away to the Goodwill in the US, it ends up here. In the
Whoa.
so-called
Okay.
global South, right? So Ghana has an issue with the stuff in with how the clothes, a lot of the clothes are not wearable that
Okay.
end up here.
Okay.
So they end up in landfills. That's a problem.
Okay.
But then there's a small percentage that is wearable.
Okay.
And you can go to Toy Market and you can get these things.
Wow. And you've been here how long and figured all this out? 4 years.
Yeah, I should know. But I go off the beaten path. A lot of expats or immigrants, whatever you want to call us,
Right.
just stay in their bubbles. But for me, like that's part of my adventure. Some people jump out of planes. My adventure is like, let me go to this outdoor market. Let me figure it out.
Yeah, I'm what you described. I don't even know what street I damn near live on. The guy's like, "Sir, where do you live?" I'm like, get a phone to the
No.
That's me. But that's genius. So let's talk about I met so many Americans there from Philly. I think we might have been the only people there from the West Coast.
There's
And
not a lot of us here.
right.
It's a lot of people here from like Georgia and from Philly. I wonder why
Philly.
that is.
I saw somebody from New York City,
Okay.
DC, Baltimore, the DMV.
Okay,
I saw a
okay.
lot of that.
But what's up with the West Coast?
I got a theory about the Philadelphia's. It's more pro-black thought in the city culture as it is. So Philadelphia, Dr. Umar,
yeah.
the Richard Allen, the
Yeah.
East Coast is real big on, like Lenox Ave,
I feel
Harlem.
you. Okay.
Yeah, you kind of the 5% Nation of Islam is strong there. So that kind of people who come to Africa typically come from those kind of strong,
Okay.
Us, if, outside of Oakland and Leimert Park, you know what I mean? It's not really so strong.
You're right.
Yeah.
California is like 6% black.
6%
And
black.
it's a big ass state. It's a wealthy state.
But we are heavy hitters though on the West Coast. Don't play. Like we're here. So don't play with it. I saw a lot of people move into one of the three areas. And maybe you will know more, but when I'm talking to people, it's Kilauea, it's Kilimani. I don't know anybody in Westlands. I think I know why, because it's kind of busy and it's kind of congested maybe a little bit. That's what I heard. But Lavington, what are the areas that African Americans are moving to, or people from the diaspora are moving to, and why?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that because when I do my consultations,
Mm-hmm.
I have a list of neighborhoods in Nairobi that I recommend
Mm-hmm.
for expats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have a list of towns on the coast of Kenya that I recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Kilimani, Kilileshwa, those are middle class areas. So
Okay.
it's a lot of high rise buildings now,
Right.
which if you like that, you like that. I'm not somebody who does.
Okay.
And then they also have like older maisonettes and apartments from the 70s.
Okay. Okay.
Though I prefer an older build with the hardwood and all of that,
Okay.
right? But then you also have upper class areas as well.
Okay.
Lavington, which is next door to Kilileshwa.
Yes.
You've got Kitasuru, especially if you have a family and you want space.
Okay.
I would recommend a Kitasuru. There's so many different neighborhoods.
Okay.
Lavington has homes and properties, but they also have like, what do they call them? Villas, which
Okay.
in the States we would call them more like a townhome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Westlands is still popular though, but you have to know that Westlands has that commercial area, right?
right.
But then it's also got very residential areas too.
Okay. Which area do you think people from our community are coming towards?
People really tend to like Kilimani and
Yeah.
Westlands. I think more so because it's affordable and there's also a lot of singles coming, right? But if you have a family, you're gonna be looking for something a little bit different.
Okay.
Like I feel like Westlands has more options for people that are coming with family. And there's a lot more of us that are actually coming with our aging parents. Like my mom is here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom is here. She's in Karen, and I'm over in Milimani, which is like a small neighborhood within Kilimani.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So, what are some of the culture shocks? I remember mine with Uganda, but coming from America and you decide that this is a place you want to visit or you want to move, this is an excellent place to move. I'm convinced, right? I'm convinced. I
Are you
might.
coming? Are you coming?
We plead the fifth right now, but
You can go back and forth. I'm gonna tell you straight up for me, what sold me, because I was in Uganda for 2 years.
mhm.
So what sold me was the urban green spaces.
Okay.
You're from Northern California?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm from Southern California. We both have lots of outdoorsy spaces,
Yes.
hiking, all of that,
Mhm.
beach. So I miss the urban green spaces. You know, Kampala is very congested, and if you want to go to a park, where would you go? You'd ha-
There is no parks. I
There
don't
is
think.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would have to go to Buziga, which is a
Mhm.
private owned park. The sister who produced the show, what was the movie with Lupita Nyong'o about her playing chess?
I don't know that one. I need to get out. I don't know.
Okay,
You
so
gotta pray
she
for me.
produced that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would also have to go out to Entebbe
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
for the
The zoo park.
it's
Or
the is it an arboretum that they have out
yes,
there?
yes, that's true.
Right. So Nairobi has a lot of urban green spaces.
Mm.
Right. My favorites are Nairobi Arboretum, which is walking distance from my house, and then there's also Karura Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And also I would recommend this, and this is in one of my guides. There's these brothers here in Kenya that they call it like an audio cinema experience where you have your headphones,
Mm.
you're walking through Karua Forest, and you're listening to these actors reenact what it was like to be a Mau Mau, because the Mau Mau actually hid out in Karua Forest. And it's a dope experience.
It's
Like you
here.
feel like, yeah, it's in Nairobi. And also, like we were talking about doing a connection because there's a strong connection between Kenyan revolutionaries and African American revolutionaries. So we
Okay.
were talking about doing a script about the two cultures and how they work together for freedom. But what was the question you asked me about? Oh, culture.
Yes. Culture shocks.
The culture shocks. I think coming from Uganda, I didn't really have much culture shock. And then I was also in Zanzibar a year before,
You say a whole year in Zanzibar.
a whole year. You know, Zanzibar is supposed to be my forever home. And yeah, look at your face. You don't. It's too slow for you.
I never been there before. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it was supposed to be my forever home, but anyway, then I ended up moving to Uganda. Well, Uganda, I was only supposed to be there just to do work for a couple of months, and 2 months turned into 2 years. And then I've been coming to Africa since I was 18. So not a lot of culture shock, but
For somebody that has never been to the
what I will say is like, what still frustrates me is when somebody tells me that they have the capacity to do something and they really don't.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, so culturally, I was told that people would rather say yes
Mm-hmm.
than disappoint you by saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And then your time is wasted, your money is wasted.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing, just like reframing time.
Right.
Sometimes it takes people a long time to do something.
Okay.
You know, like I just ordered some, what do you call them? They're like planter caddies.
Yes.
You put your plants on them, you can roll them around, reposition them.
Mm-hmm.
Two. I ordered two. It basically took 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was supposed to have two the first week. Something happened, misunderstanding.
Okay.
The second set arrived and it wasn't like the first. And then, that.
It's inconsistencies. Okay. Okay. So I can think of some.
Okay.
Well, let me go over some similarities because I know I've been living in Africa for a while, but
Okay.
when I go to like Sarit Center,
Okay.
I never went upstairs finally. I saw a restaurant called, not KFC, but AFC. Let me see if I can.
Right.
I'm going to show you a picture so you guys think I'm not bullshitting, but it's true. AFC, shout out to y'all. I'm going to go over there and get one of them.
What is it? African fried chicken? Is
I don't know what it was, but it looks just like KFC.
I've seen it.
They down bad too, by the way. But I saw like the multiple restaurants in the food court. It is very similar to what you would see in an American style mall.
Right.
Then also the movie theater, some of the 3D stuff, it seems very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Where your kids can play.
Mm-hmm.
Things you take for granted in America.
Okay.
But you would come, like your kids can play and like have fun and interact with other kids. Because Kenya's more, I think also Uganda, more family oriented.
More family oriented.
Especially on a Sunday, kids getting ice cream.
You'll go to a restaurant and there'll be a play area, like a legit play area at the restaurant. Yeah.
Right. I think people probably shocked the driving on the right side of the road and things like that.
Okay.
In America. But I think almost everything else, the internet speed could be probably not as fast, but comparable. So like if you were to live here, you can do this, whatever you're doing online, you can do it pretty good from Kenya.
You feel
Nairobi.
like the internet speed is slower than the US?
I feel like nothing is faster than what I saw in Europe or
Okay.
like some people got Google Fiber, and Google Fiber was like Jesus getting off the cross with all power in his hand. Like that's how Google Fiber is.
I've never experienced it before.
Yeah, Google Fiber
I just know
is.
what I know. You know what's so crazy? When I was in Uganda, I was trying to teach online. People was telling me that was like a great way to have like consistent income because what I was doing is writing. I was doing was an online content writing as a freelancer. And the internet was not fast enough for me to even pass the interview point in Kampala, right? So I remember the lady was just like, no, that your internet speed is too slow. Then when I was able to get a slightly faster internet speed, then my power went out. So the lights went out during my interview. It just went dark. I was like, I can't do it. But Kenya is, I'll just say Nairobi specifically. It's fast enough where you can do a lot of things online. You can, like, for a lot of us, we have meetings online, right? And some of us are taking classes. I'm also taking a UX design class.
Okay.
So I need fast internet.
Right.
And I had that here.
And then also, I was at White Rose Dry Cleaners. Now, I go to the dry cleaners in Kampala. You drop your cleaners off, you might get it in 2 or 3 days. So I went to White Rose. Shout out to White Rose. I put the ticket at 10 and got it back at 4, 5.
Yeah.
So you might take that for granted in the States, but that is something that is similar here. Because in Kampala, yes, it will be ready. They'll call you. Yes, so we have half your order, but the other part, we will let you
You
know.
know, it's a different frequency.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing because Nairobi never sleeps. Like during holidays, you'll
Mm.
see people working. Like we had Eid recently.
Yes.
It's a national holiday.
Right.
Construction workers, Labor Day,
Yes.
that people are still working. So it's convenient. I
Yes.
love that it's convenient. But when I think about the growth of a nation, the happiness of a people,
Mm-hmm.
don't nobody want to be working on no holiday. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But anyway, it's I see you like having your stuff delivered within the day. I do too. Like I
Yes.
do have occasionally I will use a wash and fold service.
Okay.
Morning they get it, by the afternoon I got my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also just like ordering my groceries, everything is done like on the app.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like what would be a culture shock for English speakers coming to Kenya. It's a different type of English.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a different type of English. And like the way that I'm talking with you right now is not how I speak to
Mm-hmm.
Kenyans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though somebody might say, well, English is our first language, y'all speak a different English. Americans, we don't really enunciate our consonants. Here they
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm. Very much. Oh, like I went to Fogo de Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I never been to a Brazilian steakhouse. I took somebody with me.
Okay.
And
I could tell by the shot. Why didn't you put her in the shot? I was like, why is he focusing so hard on this wine glass and this
Player,
food? Put her in the shot.
no, we both cheating on each other, so we don't want our.
Oh God.
So,
Okay.
but it was like less than $30,
Mm-hmm.
and
For both of y'all?
no,
Okay.
and they just kept bringing out different meats. They brought out crocodile.
Yeah.
Talk about the dining experience
Okay.
and the like the variety that you have here and with the prices.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I am a vegetarian, like 98% vegetarian.
Okay.
But I try not to make food my religion. So I do have like a little bit here and there. My dance studio is located in the same compound
Mhm.
as Fogo de Chao.
Okay.
So, what I would say about the food
Is it on
here
the far right? Like when you
is,
walk in?
did you hear
to-
the music?
Yes.
It's on the right and it's upstairs.
Yeah, I heard the music. I'm like, I'm about to book up there. Start crip walking.
Yes. So, if you're somebody that's into fitness,
Okay.
you'll love it here because we got some of everything,
Mm-hmm.
Pilates, etc. Now, the food is great.
Mm-hmm.
There are people here from all over the world that have opened restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come on my fashion tour, and we happen to end up in Kilimani,
Mm-hmm.
I like to take people to Five Senses because it's the only fine dining restaurant owned by Africans here in Kenya.
Really?
Yeah. And it's family owned. So I like to take people there.
Okay.
Now, my friends make fun of me. My favorite restaurant is Cotiva. It's in Karen, the neighborhood of Karen.
Okay.
And I think the guys that own it are from like Ecuador,
Okay.
right? And when my dad and his partner come, they like going to Hob House because they're vegan, so they can get a lot of options at Hob House. It's like Lebanese cuisine.
Okay.
So you have a lot of variety and new restaurants just opening up all the time. And Nairobians love to brunch. So
Mm.
there's always like a wonderful brunch spot.
Mm-hmm.
I even like NT.
I was
NT
about to
is
tell you about that.
good.
I went there. I was about to bring it up.
Mhm.
Go up 20 floors.
Yeah.
Then another floor. You'll go to the guy. He takes you to another floor.
Yeah.
It was like Japanese,
Yeah, it's
Asian,
Japanese.
Peruvian,
And they
stuff.
have a good brunch. Like I like their brunch.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then the cocktails are really, I never saw a drink I didn't like.
Okay.
So if you see me, you know what you need to do. Buy me something, okay?
I like Beta Salam.
Where's that?
Beta Salam is owned by this Ethiopian guy, but it's in Westlands.
Okay.
So I typically go places where there'll be a variety
Mhm.
where I can actually have something to eat. Like, but if you're a carnivore, there's so many different. Why are you laughing? If you're a carnivore, there's so many different places in Nairobi, in Kenya, period, to eat
Okay.
because of the culture, right? Kenyans, well, the different ethnic groups, most of them were pastoralists.
Okay.
So you've got cows are very cows are basically a part of the culture in terms of cattle herding, etc.
Okay.
So the nyama choma is a thing. When I was eating meat, I like my meat to be flavored.
Okay.
And I found that some people just don't. They just want that meat grilled, you know? Have you been to a
Mm.
proper nyama choma spot yet?
I think I went to. It's like goat, right?
Well, it
Kind
could
of.
be anything. It could be goat, beef,
Yeah, I've been to one time
okay,
once.
chicken even. Uganda is known for his pork spots though. When
Yeah, I
I
don't
was living in
with the
Uganda,
with the holes in the tiles and stuff. That's what.
what?
Yeah,
The
them
holes in the
porks, them
towel.
local pork joints.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
No, you don't want to see that.
I haven't seen
It's
that,
down
but I
bad.
would just get the sticks.
You ate it?
Yeah, I
You didn't die?
actually no. I would
I
pull
don't do
over to the
street
side
food.
of the road because the traffic in Kampala is not easy. Sometimes you just want to pull over to the side, wait for the traffic to die down. You get the barbecue pork, and then when I was eating meat, I really like the fatty part.
Mm-mm.
You don't like it? You don't like
I
pork?
don't listen. That street food is a hit or miss.
I love street food.
I don't want to be down bad. I don't eat it nowhere. Street
So
food
you
anywhere in the
you
world.
have a sensitive stomach?
Yes.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah, it
I have an
does.
iron stomach.
Okay. That down bad. I haven't been to that one, but they said this is Ethiopians own this one.
Well, it's an Ethiopian guy. I think he's a dip kid. So he opened up this spot, and it's not Ethiopian food. It's like just an
Okay.
international fusion. And the decor is nice. It's a nice date spot. Even if you want to go somewhere and have a meal and then go over to their bar, because the bar is like loungy, it's kind of vintagey, it's velvety.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Let me ask you this last question because at the Nexus event, I saw like so many people from different parts of the world there. It wasn't just African Americans. I think we were the dominant group, but obviously you had some South Sudanese, some Kenyans were there.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people have you met, like as far as an opportunity to partner or do business with in Nairobi? How much opportunity have you been able to get for yourself just being in this city? For those people who might want to come and see if there's opportunity for them, what have you been able to achieve in that
I
realm?
think there's plenty of opportunity,
Mhm.
but let me just express I'm probably not the best person to ask this question
Okay.
because I don't necessarily make my money in Nairobi.
Okay.
Most of the money that I receive comes from my clients from abroad.
Okay.
Yes, but I would also say that like I do have someone here doing my social media.
Okay.
I do have someone here that's doing my editing for me.
Okay.
And I have lots of Kenyan partners when it comes to my fashion tours, right?
Okay.
So that way has been very good for me, very good for my clients.
Okay.
Yeah, people, I mean, what I love about being here is that people are serious about their brands.
So tell everybody where they can follow you, YouTube channel, all that.
Okay, so you can catch me on Instagram at Beauty is Universal UG because I started it when I was in UG.
Okay.
And then also you can catch me on YouTube at Beauty is Universal. And then I also have a website where you can purchase the guides, where you can book a fashion tour. And that's also Beauty is Universal.
All right. And guys, I'm going to buy 2 guides. Maybe she'll let me give one for free. I'm going to get one for myself.
Okay.
But can I do it on Cash App? Because, I'm broke.
You can do it on whatever app. It's a digital guide.
All right. So subscribe, check her out. And the first comment pinned to the top. All information is there. Peace.
Peace.